nights are on repeat. A glowing dark is coming to the streets. We catch the magic of the sights. We breathe again with the neon from the heights. Tell me, did you ever want it? Just to stay here by my side. It's the magic of the moments under the sleepless sky. Tell me, did you ever feel it? A static touch beneath your skin. It's the rhythm of the heartbeat. So deep within, some sleepless nights, sorrow night. Starting from the early midnight, straight onto the morning light. Some sleepless nights we can't deny.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Victoris Talk Squad. We're here once again on your, it's not a Thursday night, it's a Wednesday night this time. We are the average,
Wednesday
everyday Is it actually Wednesday? Please tell me I'm not, like, imagine. Oh, it is
it's
Wednesday.
still Wednesday.
Thank you.
It's about to be Thursday.
It is about to be Thursday. It will become Thursday while we are live, but yes, we are the VTS crew minus TDS who could not make it tonight. But yeah, we've got the analyst desk and Moose Gurf back from vacation. Congratulations. I hope you had a wonderful rest. But yeah, from me, we got Moose, we got Quintic, VRD Captain Quintic of the Ducks, and Kevbo Lol. So Moose, how you feeling? How are things going for you?
You know, I just got back from the gym. It was a marathon day, did a bunch of running, and I'm now ready to run my mouth for the next hour. It's gonna be great. I got more adult stuff ready for me. Let me rephrase that.
Yes.
Last week I had a beer. This week I have a little bit of weed. You know, we're trying to be a little.
Right.
We're trying to be a little fun today.
Yeah, a
it's
little
that
fast,
kind of
a
podcast.
little fast,
Just
a little
little
loose.
bit.
This is
A little-
actually Joe Rogan right now.
Oh,
Joe
shit.
Rogan? Don't you dare. Joe Rogan could have been a national treasure, but we won't get into that.
Oh, that's a whole other story. I guess I'm bald enough, you know.
Oh,
Never
Jesus
mind.
Christ. Oh my
Alright,
lord.
This
Quintic,
start is doomed. We're getting out.
we're already going downhill fast. Quintic, Captain of the Ducks, VRD, how are you doing, my
I don't know
friend?
how that one happened, to be honest. Just kind of like abruptly. I'm doing fine. I'm pretty exhausted. Been traveling a lot lately. Just got back, started catching up with League before I knew it. It's 11:30 p.m. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was also surprised by that. I was in a League of Legends game until like 4 minutes ago. So, you know, that's always great news.
We're really down to the wire.
Really, we were able to surrender. Don't worry. You know, when Tryndamere and Rumble are both Omega fed, you just give up. You go home. Nothing much I can do is Yak's jungle, I think.
Just play into the late game, bro.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, late game, we scale.
Yeah.
Every game is winnable.
It is 100%.
And you know who else is winnable and winnable? No, who else is winning right now? The real winner here, Kevbo, coming off of the VAS, a certified creamer of a match earlier. How was that? How was that
You call it that?
experience? I didn't watch it.
The first two games were absolute draft diff, back and forth. The third game, I referred to it as something on stream that I'm not going to say again. Actually, I'm gonna say it again. We've already talked about weed. Crying out loud.
It's the podcast.
To put it one way, it was a throw fest, aka a parody on the Charles Dickens classic, A Tale of Two Shitties.
Very good.
It literally came down to the plat player on the one team 1v9ing on Yone. So yeah, it was fun. It was some high quality VAS content. Honestly, I know you all cast too, so I came off of it. My brain started dying in the third game. I'm not gonna lie, because I've been working a lot with Victoris and my IRL job. But I came off the game 2, and I was like, I just absolutely smurfed the foop out of that cast. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm really tired. I've slept, I think, maybe 7 of the last 48 hours. So
good.
We're feeling strong right now.
Okay, we'll make sure to put you on the spot and like really just kill your high.
Perfect.
100%, 100%. I have to ask you, because you look like you know what you're doing, fashion sense wise. Like, you're a good looking guy. You know what you're doing. What do you do for work? Like, what do you do for work that makes you do all of this stuff and not go to sleep? Are you an esports coach in real life too?
I might just continue sipping on my cup.
I believe this could be a sign. All right, now I'm gonna use my deductive skills here. As I am a detective, I learned from the best of the best, the VAD detectives who never fail me in identifying the players who need to be removed from the league. They're always correct and never wrong. I think you work at Jimmy John's.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. I'm glad we figured that out.
That's the most stop talking about this now sip I've ever seen.
I work at a exquisite Asian dining experience location called Panda Express. So absolutely
Holy
smurfing it.
moly.
I did just get a promotion though, so
Wow.
Hey, there we go.
moving up in the world. Or well, it's not official yet. I have to do an interview with the big boss manager, but that's neither here or there. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it on air. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Who's gonna?
Remember,
I'm not gonna leak it.
this podcast is not approved by Panda Express. Okay.
This podcast is not sponsored by Panda Express yet.
It's barely sponsored by Victoris.
Yeah.
So.
Does anyone but Gurf even know we're doing this? Like,
Gurf is trying to pretend we aren't doing this. I think that's the impression
I out
I'm
on stream, and I do know that Flip Trick was there, so I would assume that Flip Trick knows that this is going on as
Alright,
well, at the very least.
it's semi-sanctioned at least.
Yeah, semi-sanctioned. But
Let's
get
talk
back
about some
on.
league though.
Yeah, let's get back on the
do it.
rails.
I'm
here.
ready. I'm ready.
Let's hop on the train, the VTS train, the V Train S. That I couldn't think of V or S, so just imagine it in your heads. This is a choose your own joke episode. You, the viewer, get to pick the joke today.
Victoris rail system.
It's the Victoris rail system.
Victoris train.
That's the
Straight
VRS
on
right there, the Victoris rail system.
Damn it.
The Victoris transport system. There it is.
We're getting you from point A to point B in the most inefficient way possible.
Absolutely. With me on as host, we will never actually arrive at a topic. But we're going to... Is this about any of the leagues? No. But we're going to get started talking about Victoris, the VTS right now. We're going to do a recap. We're going to start... I'm going to do the rundown of tonight. We're going to do a recap of the premiere match from last week, along with some of the consequences of that. So, you know, what happened to CBM after their match, what happened to DAF after the match, and other things related to that. Just a couple of catch up with the last week's events. And after that, we're going to go into some meta developments. As we go into a new patch, there was an announcement about 12.17. We got the details about that. Some major changes come into some of the not necessarily most prominent champions on the patch right now, but it could shake up the patch by bringing new champions into the limelight. And of course, we're going to talk about the meta within the VTS, because we do have the stats for pick rates and everything, and I feel like that is very interesting and somewhat reflective of the top of the table. We're going to talk about the Mingos, of course, who lost their superstar top laner, put out a power rankings that is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life, and then proceeded to lose to CBM. So, you know, we'll have to see how that goes. we'll talk a little bit about the Mingos tonight because, you know, I guess it's a happening within the VTS. I also put down a couple of matches that I felt were interesting. We'll do a match watch and then a stats watch where we'll go over some of the interesting stats and the current players to watch. And now, and of course, to end it off, we're going to be talking about some of the interesting matches that have not been played this week. Because, of course, some matches have already been played, some matches have not been played, and some matches won't be played until like weeks from now, and we'll never know when they happen. So, you know, we'll get to those when we get to those. But that is the basic rundown of the situation. And of course, if you in chat would like to know, if you have questions or things as we're talking, this is a live show, so feel free to put your comments, questions, concerns, and we'll look at them and then decide if they go into a shredder or not. So, you know, be thankful that we're here for you tonight. So let's start with
these questions, maybe.
So let's go ahead and start with a recap of last week. So, on the stream, we witnessed CB Midnight take down Divine Ascension Frostbite in a very convincing, earth-shattering 2-0 victory, including some interesting draft decisions that arguably could have been better, but results-based analysis tells us that it was right. So, I know we talked with our limited time on the actual broadcast. We already talked a bit about this match, but you know, if we wanted to go into a bit more detail here, I feel like for me, I was kind of expecting it to be a bit closer than it actually was. It just felt like DAF got run over and had no idea what they were doing in the game, which is admittedly a little depressing. So yeah, I'm curious how you guys felt going into that, and what happened afterwards, if you had different expectations.
Yeah, game 1 wasn't close at all. Game 2 was closer, but CBM were obviously in the driver's seat the entire time. As I said on the desk before, like I liked the style of composition. That was hold
on, but yeah.
Let's
get our notes put in together.
I'm still bad with team names, you know. I see the blue, I see the red. I'm like, wow, League of Legends, cool. So it was just right. It was DAF who ran the artillery dive, correct?
Yes.
I believe
okay.
so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. DAF ran artillery dive in game 2. Yeah, so they did their best.
Yeah, I loved the style of composition that came out, but I mean, like, it was pretty bold to blind pick the Echo with no flex potential. Right?
Yeah.
We just I mean, obviously, I'm not intimately familiar with Echo matchups, but with the frequency at which we see that champion, I'd imagine there's some pretty terrible ones, right? So,
really quick, I put the links to the draft lol and then the post-game stats for both games. If you guys want to follow along in chat,
you are
talk about what we're talking about.
Beautiful, man. It didn't show up. A link got.
Yep. Asterisk North America, game 2, asterisk. So, I mean, I feel like this is representative of how DAF feels about the series. You know, they just don't want to look at it anymore.
Let's block it from memory. I mean, obviously, it's series 1, so I don't think DAF like have anything to be like astronomically tilted about, right? Like, yeah, they got blown out game 1. Yeah, they had some rough decisions throughout game 2. And yeah, speaking bluntly, there was absolutely like kind of a top gap throughout much of the series.
A little bit of a top gap, just a little bit of one.
But I mean, like, there's still, if we're watching the VTS, right? So we're expecting players who are going to very quickly identify what went wrong in the series and who are going to be able to improve on that, like, tangibly throughout the split. So, I mean, like, you know, week 1 jitters, maybe. Just, I'm not too concerned for them in the long run.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Go. Keep going.
This.
Sorry.
I will say this because going into this, and like, don't get me wrong, I want to preface this by saying that I don't think that this is the only reason why there was such a difficult time there for DAF, but they were missing a player on their roster. They were using a sub. So, with that being said, you still, this is a lesson to, I think, a lot of teams as well, especially when you get up to these higher ranks, that I think is pretty important, is if you have a sub on your team, like, that sub has to be, like, your sixth man. You have to, like, play with them. And I don't know how much the coordination there was in the bottom lane, because if I recall, it was the ADC that had to swap. So now you've got an issue. Yeah, the ADC is going to be missing for DAF. So now you got an issue where your bottom lane and the bottom lane synergy that they have, like, has difficulty on it. And you could clearly see that in game 1. It was a lot better in game 2, but you could clearly see it in game 1.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Utilizing subs is very much there are some benefits to it, of course, because it forces the enemy team to prep around an additional player, and you can also utilize different strategies based on your champion pools, but at the same time, utilizing subs also ends up impacting innate synergy. Playing with the same 5 fellas, 5 friends, or I guess 5 coworkers sometimes, playing with the same 5 group of people, you build up synergy innately as you start playing together because you get in each other's heads. You start seeing how they're approaching the game. You start getting on the same page. And of course, with a good coaching staff, you can really approach the game as a unit. But when you start adding on additional players, and we see this in the LCS as well, we've seen in the past with like the 10-man rosters. I think like Cloud9 and TSM both attempted to do 10-man rosters, and every time we've seen a 10-man roster, it's been a complete and utter failure in comparison to the expectations that we have for this kind of strategy. So obviously, in DAF's case, they were using a sub because they kind of had to, but that's just something to keep in mind. It makes it harder for these players to build up synergy, and going up against players that already have some built up synergy and already have that sort of similar game plan, it can be troublesome.
Yeah, and we do also have to just add a disclaimer that we're kind of speculating on how much everyone on DAF plays with each other, right? We can't know exactly what's happening on the inside of their team. The one thing that I'm curious if you guys know, like, do we know how established DAF is as a roster? Like, have they played together in previous leagues? Like, do we have any information on that?
I believe we do. In the I'll pull it up. I did think that they responded to me in the check-in. So any captains that rewatch this, if you guys are watching this, if you guys have not put your responses into the VTS like check-in sheet that we put in, it's in the captain's chat. You can take a look at it and just kind of give us some more feedback about your teams. Like, I know I got a few from you guys yesterday, but no, they haven't been a different name in the past. Their plan is to win, but they are a new team. And
yeah, this is a good strat. Winning, I think, is a good strat.
But I love it.
They're gonna need to work a little bit harder on that, though. They didn't quite reach the winning part. They'll get there though.
I'm so down for it though. It's short and simple. Totally get it.
Yeah, the only reason I would bring that up is just because, like, maybe there's not a lot of existing synergy to disrupt by bringing in a substitute in the first place, and then that's its own slew of problems, right? Because then your team doesn't have existing synergy. I mean, it is what it is. Eventually, main roster AD carry will show up. I mean, my prediction is that if that's true, if they're actually a new roster, having the substitute short term isn't going to disrupt too much. They'll probably just be performing how they would perform anyway. And we'll check in on them again at the end of the split, see how much that
of course
come together, right?
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on them, of course. And their next match will be against ISU, who are currently 1-0. I guess we can take a quick look at the standings since I've already mentioned some score lines. There's a bit of oddities. DIV have won a game, even though it says they haven't. I think they've actually played 2 of their matches already. If I double check the match history, because they
take a look while you talk.
Yeah. I'm scrolling. They played against Geb. And okay, they've only played against Geb. So they've only played their 1 match, and that was a victory. So it shows they're 0-0, but that was a victory. They should be up with the rest of the 1-0 crew. I don't know why CB Midnight, who had 2-0, are second place. There's a few oddities with this. Don't worry about it.
No, absolutely not. It's cool. Yeah, it's fine. CB Midnight, they're not CB Rush, so that's why they're second place.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you have any complaints with the standings, of course, make sure you. I was about to throw Ravensman under the bus, but I'm not about to do that. I'm a bigger.
Oh, please
person.
do. He loves it when you do that.
All right, make sure. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not tonight. Not tonight. It's too late. If it was earlier in the night, maybe I would. But I don't want poor Ravensman to check his phone, have 1,800 notifications. Yeah, ISU could just be better. You know, the system knows that ISU is a superior team, and we'll get to see that going into their match against DAF later in the week. And ISU beat Nameless Esports Goobers.
Goobers. Yeah, the Goobers.
Yeah. I love the Goobers. Oh my god.
That's just surprising. That's so surprising because I thought the Goobers had a decent squad on paper. So, you know, so ISU like showing it off, making it happen. Very exciting.
Yeah,
which is
interesting.
As a college team, I think really nice to see, especially if they do well in this league. Like, you're really ramping towards CLOL. Like, that's the goal for all of these college teams. You want to get as much practice, as much good practice with a roster that you hope to be competitive with in this spring for the Collegiate League of Legends series. So nice to see them showing up and popping off. It was a 2-1 series, so they did have a little bit of issues, but still very nice to see them up there with it win.
Yeah,
I mean, personally,
very nice to see them.
Oh yeah, I love drawing conclusions based on like a 1 series sample size. I think this means they're going to win the split.
Absolute 100%. Make sure you put that down. Yep.
All right. We'll make this interesting. Do you want to make a bet on that?
Why would I make a bet on that?
No.
So the answer is yes, I do. But
yes,
we're doing an LCS bet. We're gonna
channel points.
Who's eating the habanero?
I'm actually going wild. If CBM win the entire split, they're 2-0 right now. They're the only team that's played 2 games. I will dye my hair a different color.
What?
So CBM, if you win the split, so
standard.
Grand finals.
They have to win grand finals.
Okay.
It's week 2.
Such a bold prediction, but I will take you up on that bet. I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
Oh,
I'll
equal?
Equal. I will dye my hair. I'll bleach my hair. I will shave my hair off.
Yeah, I'll do that too. I'll do all those things.
Nah, you guys aren't coming anywhere near my hair. I'm out.
All right, here I'll give you the handshake on the camera. There it is.
Yeah, we need cameras. We need cameras.
Yeah, can we get a handshake? Can we get the handshake again, please?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, am I?
Girth?
I'm giving you my right. I'm giving you my right hand.
Okay. All right, cool.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. CBM. How did they like? Hold on. No way. You're telling me that CBM.
You took the bad side of that, because if CBM don't win the split,
no.
What do you mean that's the bad side? The odds are not in your favor that they win the split. There are like 100 other teams.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's on the bad side of the split, because what I said if CBM win the split, I will.
Oh well.
Wait a minute. Did we just get bamboozled? Did we just get finagled? Wait
I
a
did
second.
just get bamboozled. I did just get bamboozled, but
You
it's
got
okay.
swindled.
I'll take you up on the bet. It's perfectly fine. CBM's gonna win this series. I'm now CBM's biggest fan. Let me just repackage everything that I'm gonna try to say. Let's focus on Daydream getting another Quadra kill in week 2. Definitely gonna happen. Another Samira
absolutely.
Quadra kill, maybe even a pentakill. She's gonna rock it.
CBM have actually already played their match for week 2. They played their match against the Mingos, who, of course, their top laners in jail, sent to the Shadow Realm, literally admin diffed. You hate to see it. Happens to the best of us, but the Mingos, they fell to CBM, so CBM is currently 2-0. They have won both of their series, so they're getting there. They're getting to the top of the league. They're on the path. They can't lose from here.
Yeah,
We've never seen this happen.
Anyone capable of beating Mingos must be just top of the standings, right?
It's true. It's true. I mean, Mingos are the top team. They said so themselves. I trust them.
Okay, moving into that though, for anybody in chat or potentially on the analyst desk who might not be aware, what is the situation with Mingo's top laner?
I believe. Hold on, let me see if I can't find the competitive ruling for it. If there was a ruling that was posted somewhere, I don't think there was ever like a public ruling for it, which is weird.
Yeah, if there was, then I would know, because I think I'm one of the major reasons that competitive rulings is an announcement channel, because then I can just send it to my servers and be a drama frog.
Oh my
gasp.
goodness.
Gasp.
So I would know if they made a ruling.
Well, regardless, if we look at the Mangoes, tier list, we can tell.
Do we have that, by the way?
We can tell that it was Ravensman that I believe that it was that gave him the suspension. We can deduce.
Jamie, could you pull up the Ming? Jamie, could you pull up the Mingos?
So,
oh my god.
So the Mingos have released power rankings.
Yeah, we're just skipping ahead. We're skipping ahead. We're going to the
We're
Mingos
doing
right
it
now.
here.
Yeah, we're doing it live.
We just happened to segue to this.
We're doing this live.
That's my mistake. I broke the sequence. I'm a speedrunner.
Yeah, we're gonna pull up the Mingos power rankings. Our good friends at Mingos Incorporated have.
I'm down with some witty banter. I'm down with witty banter. We can make that happen.
Yeah, they have provided us a ranking of all 16 teams and some of the admins. So, this is great news. The admin power ranking I think is very important. But let's start with the teams. Let's take a look at the teams there. So at the top we have the Mingos, the best team. They have flare and rap videos, which few other teams have. They bring power. They say they aren't winning at all. How are you number 1 if you don't think you're gonna win at all? What is this garbage? Come on, Mingos, have some confidence.
It's not about actual ranking in the VTS. It's just the power that they bring.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a literal power ranking.
Yeah, a literal power ranking.
They're the ones that generate the most wattage, the most frequency. They're just really, they got their pulse to the concrete, or whatever the saying is. Their ear to the concrete. Their heart. You're on the street. It doesn't matter. Regardless, Mingos are a team. They are a team. And
they're fun.
And they're very fun as well. I do think they're very fun as well. So I'm totally down for the witty banter. Just,
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Keep it classy.
Yeah. They also think that CBM are going to be the team to win it all. They're with you. They're on team CBM as well.
Totally agree. Yeah. I'm down for CBM winning. We can be best together.
Yeah, they have Coconut Kissers at 3rd, which
obviously. They just exert the most power. Coconut Kissers.
They've got high wattage, and they actually have picked up a game against a very interesting opponent, which we will talk about later in the show. Glacial Esports, they used to sponsor the Mingos, so that's great news. They're 4th. Wolfpack are 5th. obviously, makes sense. DIV, this is one of the Big Sis's teams, so you know when Big Sis is involved that it's only going to be an absolute situation. For lack of a better word, situation. The Goobers, sponsored by an admin, apparently. ISU. This is a collegiate team playing with a bunch of motherfuckers that rather play solo queue than grind schooling for a career. Stick to the books, losers. Never heard
Jesus
someone
Christ.
say, quote, "Yeah, I don't want to brag, but I go to Iowa State," end quote.
I love it.
So they've got some problems with Iowa, I guess.
I think Iowa State though is great. 100%. Go to school, stay in school. Play League of Legends at school as well. Go for it.
I love the implication that it is literally impossible to both be in school and play League of Legends.
I mean,
it's true. It's never been done before.
so when I was in high school 10 years, or when I was in college, 10 years ago, and you were playing League of Legends and skipping class to play League of Legends on the library computers, which had phenomenal MS, great graphics, like great computers, because we were at a decent university. Oh, hell yeah. But stay in school. Don't quit school. Don't do it. Don't quit school.
Yeah.
School's
Stay in
important.
school, everyone. I also like that they made fun of ISM's name like I did. The Kingdom Hearts name. ISM All-Stars Diamond Plus Final Chapter Prologue 2.8. Definitely a fantastic, just awesome name. So long. They need to make it longer. I think with every win they get, they need to add another word onto their name. Can we do this?
Adjective.
Please
Another
no.
adjective.
Until
I'll
they
do
look
it.
Street Fighter 2 title.
Yeah, Turbo.
Dude, I want to be referred to as Turbo.
Yeah,
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, 64. Yeah, can we get some just more random adjectives and like, revelations, just a bunch of garbage. I want to see this name get as long as possible. If that's possible, I want it to be possible. Tell your friends. Nameless Esports Ned, they are 10th right now. Because they have a worse logo than the yellow version. I gotta agree.
I think that's fair. I think that does make you a worse team if you have a worse logo.
Yeah.
GLV is ranked this low due to their manager and captain all being the same person. Fuck you, dude. Just pick one and stop trying to flex. We get it. You're not good enough to play on the team. This person's got a problem with the manager, coach, player. I think that's awesome. If they were manager, captain, coach, and a player, they'd be doing the Charlie Chaplin, but they're not quite there yet. And I'm sure that would go fantastically if somebody tried to do that.
I think, let's see, LCE. LCE, the Lit Club. The Lit Club. Great name. Great name.
Yeah.
Fun name.
Yeah.
Great,
Literature Club, Esports.
Literature Club. Literature Club. I love
These
it. I love
losers rule booked me out of week 2.
Oh,
Got 'em.
Boy. Okay.
Got they ass.
I love
So we
that
found
we're
we found the
figuring
source.
we're figuring out what's going on here. But okay, all right. I think we understand. I don't know where this tier list is coming from, but it's great content. We do it for the content.
Yeah. It's understandable. Lit Club is very famous for pulling other teams back in the bucket. They are the one showing that my Lit Club team had was in the Duck League. We denied playoffs to Tenebris Esports by beating them in the final match of the Gold League that we had.
Very cool.
They literally had to beat us to get into playoffs, and they'd be guaranteed. They couldn't do it.
Did you play Garen? Did you do it?
I was playing jungle. I played a Mumu.
You can play Jungle Garen, but okay.
I
All right.
I will. But
down,
you know,
I'm down.
we're gonna see who Lit Club denies playoffs this split. They are one of our spoiler teams to watch out for. SLK at 13th. 13th.
But are they really? Look at this description.
No, don't worry about it. No. Hold on. We can't read. I'm illiterate. I don't know what this says. Don't worry. They're actually 13th. This is real. Yep,
100%.
true.
Today we've learned that Becky of Lit Club Esports is illiterate.
I love the description for CE has a very just brutal description, and they're still above 2 other teams. That's something else.
Isn't that just flaming their names? They're just flaming the logo and name.
Yeah, get better names. I don't know
No
what to say.
commentary on the gameplay. You deserve 14th place.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
wait a minute.
the more I read this list is based. I love this.
Wait a minute. Divine Ascension Frostbite are at 15th because they keep winning against this guy. Oh, I see. That's
Yeah,
understandable.
okay, yeah, makes sense. They wouldn't provide a lot of power and energy to the roster or to the VTS. That's for sure.
Having more teams in a league or in many leagues just means you're weaker. I mean, obviously.
Yeah,
just
you're
trying to
dividing your
find
power.
right?
How can you exert so much power into just the VTS when you're spread so thin? I mean, it makes sense.
Exactly.
You can have strong players, but low power.
I mean, that's why CC is so low too. You know.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying. Wait, why are they? Wait.
They got 2-0'd by
They got
Insomnia.
2-0'd by Insomnia. Insomnia Deluxe Super Street Fighter for 3DS for Nintendo 3DS.
First Switch.
So yeah,
First-
they did lose to ISM, so I guess that's fair. You know, put them at the bottom. If they could go to 17th, they would.
I need them to win long enough for and Knuckles to be added to their name. Like,
Yeah, and Knuckles. The admin power ranking, just go over this real quick. Obviously, Flip Trick is the best. I don't know who. I don't even know Rex Go Dragon was a person. To be honest.
It's not an admin, Victoris. That's why.
Mingos have literally stuffed the admin power ranking list with non-admins just to put Ravensmen lower.
Yo, could you put me on? Put me on. Put me in.
Like, that's the point of this list.
Yeah, we didn't get added at all. I'm a little sad that we got left out.
Yeah, could you just put the entirety of this desk above Ravensman? I think that would be... I don't care where we are above Ravensman, but I just want to make sure Ravensman goes lower. I think that's the goal here.
No, we gotta. We can't all be together. We're gonna lower Kevbo's rating.
Oh yeah, unfortunate.
I like how Bondi is 6, but is handsome guy, no complaints.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm down with it though. The Mingos are gonna go 4-3.
They're going places. I believe.
They're going 4-3. They're just gonna go. They're gonna make it. They're gonna make it into quarterfinals.
And finally, the banter power rankings. We have from hot off the presses, local plat 80 carry hate crimes VTS team. Who is Bondi and what did he do with D Cyclone? I've always been asking this. Where is D Cyclone? Has somebody found this person? What happened to D Cyclone? Where are they? Can they come back? So
guys, come, submit your memes. Make memes for us. That's fun.
Yeah, we'll do a meme review segment. If you submit your favorite shit posts about the league, we'll look over them and we'll rate you. Beatpots has asked me, have you watched the Mingos music videos? This horrifies me. I don't think I want to.
The Mingos have
Go for it.
Scared.
Go for it. Watch it later.
I'll check them out later. Maybe when the Mingos finally win a game, we'll play some on stream. They beat LC. Who am I kidding? They literally won week 1. I'm flaming them for no reason.
Yeah, I mean,
the Mingos to the moon. You don't believe?
I believe to disbelieve is where I am. But
I mean, I'm never one to shy away from a good bit. The Mingos have a good bit, right? If so.
They just gotta keep it going though. We gotta see what next week. We gotta see next week's witty banter. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Oh god, B-Pots has just sent me the whole catalog of Mingo's music videos.
First us though. I think next week we're getting the desk and caster power rankings.
Yeah, could we get a power rankings of the 5 of us, including TDS, and then also Gurf? I would, but Gurf's number 1. We got that's kind of a given. But you know, where are the rest of us? That's the real question that needs to be answered. But back on track, we're gonna actually talk about things that matter. Less than the Mingo's power rankings. Yeah, less than, but they still matter. We're gonna talk about some champion stats.
Oh boy.
And some of the meta developments within the VTS, because these amateur leagues, they sort of develop their own little metas that I think is very fascinating and very interesting. And unfortunately, the meta we seem to be in is the Enchanter meta here in the VTS. If we want to take a look at some of these stats here.
Hey, it works for me. I mean...
Enchanters have been stupid strong recently, and that's reflected here. Like, you see Yuumi so often, you see Lulu super often, you see Seraphine super often, you see all these stupid enchanters just slapped onto random team compositions, and they win anyways. It's infuriating. But
I don't think it's random.
Yeah, not random.
There's tact that comes into it. No, I want you to stay on the support hate train. I want you to stay on it. I want to keep the bit going.
Yeah, I love
meta. That's why
I am a support player. My most played champion is Sona. But every time I see an enchanter, they're always playing cringe. They're always posting cringe. They don't go anywhere. They just stay behind their AD carry and refuse to participate in the video game. It's like, step up. You have ranged abilities. Use them. Come on, man. I mean, we see less of that in the higher leagues, but definitely in the lower leagues when you see enchanters, it's very much Janna clicks shield on AD carry off cooldown sort of type beat there. And it's kind of annoying. And I don't think enchanters are necessarily fun to watch. But that's just my opinion. I'm curious how the rest of you feel about the enchanter supremacy.
So I'm thinking when I see the Lulu, like, if we have to have a most picked champion as an enchanter, at least it's Lulu who gives support players like the opportunity to actually exert themselves in lane. We actually can see some combat in lane, right? Like, there's an obvious difference between just okay Lulu players and great Lulu players. I'm starting to look over the highest presence champions, like, and just, you know, that pick ban rate. Lulu, Sivir, Trundle, all being the exact same very specific value reminds us that we have a very low sample size so far. Honestly, I'm very surprised to see Lulu above Sivir, or like on par with Sivir even.
Yeah, I think a lot of that though is just because of how strong Sivir is in the meta. After Zeri getting nerfed and people still trying to figure out how this patch is going to work, I think a lot of people just defaulted to Sivir. I mean, even if you look at a lot of pro play, it's pretty high pick ban rate across every single major region, because Sivir is very much a champ that you can kind of just pair an enchanter with and just farm until team fights.
Oh, 100%. If your objective is to just get Sivir to her mythic spike when she becomes an actual champion, Lulu does that very well. So I guess when you frame it in that context, it's not surprising to see a lot of Lulu presence. So what do we have? What do we have in top 5? Lulu, Ornn, Sivir, Seraphine, Trundle. Ah, I love it. Because Becky, you were saying you hate seeing cringe, right? I love cringe. I love cringe so much. Like, you get the opportunity to make anything unkillable, you just make the most cringe pick possible. That's what I enjoy, right? Tank Yone, right? I love cringe Yone.
That's a fun team comp, though. You can make that a team comp, and it'll work. Seraphine mid, Sivir, Lulu bottom lane. It's a composition. All lanes are represented.
Yeah, I think what this sort of, and this is something I've talked about before when I've had a chance to be a color caster, which is a mistake. I don't have a good brain. but something I've started to see, at least in recent patches, with the power of enchanters, it sort of feels like they're engines. Like when you're playing a TCG, these sort of staple cards that you can play in a number of different decks, and they facilitate a number of different strategies. Even though they're maybe a bit more specialized than like 100% staples, these very reliable sources of power that you can just put in every composition. And I feel like enchanters right now are sort of approaching that engine kind of status. You know, we had a few patches there where Seraphine Senna were just the most gross thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And now Yumi's back on the rise, Lulu's back on the rise, Seraphine's still there. Senna has fallen off in favor, but still has a place in the metagame. And we're seeing a lot less of these heavy engage supports that you would typically be expecting in higher levels of play, at least based on like the past while. That's not to say they aren't there. We do see some Nautilus, some Leona occasionally. A lot more Amumu than those two, though, at least in my experience, which is also strange, but you know, that's just sort of how I feel about it. It's interesting that that's how it's developing in my mind.
I think that presence comes down to two like major factors here. Firstly, post 12-14, with the increased importance of dragon stacking, having the range support is more likely to generate prio for your team, get you on the right foot from the very beginning, compared to a melee support who just, you know, kind of has to take it in most cases, especially if the melee support doesn't have access to Sivir at their side, right? And second, a lot of those engaged supports that we typically see really haven't recovered since 12-10. You know, you get champions like Leona, who frankly put a lot of pressure on their teammates right now. They go in, they get a good initiation, they have all the CC they need, but then without providing damage of their own after the 12-10 update, they just say like, hey, teammates, kill this guy now. You need to do more damage or I'm going to die, right? So, I mean, when we see a Mumu, that's a champion who can like really, really pressure these enchanters from level 1, has a moderate amount of single target blow up some of his own damage. I've been an advocate for Sejuani ever since I picked her up like 2 patches ago. That champion just performs excellently in that engaged support niche because of the raw damage she's bringing. So, you know, I really think we're in a position where it just makes sense to pick enchanters, but like, not because their numbers are overwhelming, because like the standard answers to enchanters have kind of underwhelming numbers because we're valuing the push. And I think if we do want to see some innovation in the meta, like we need to see the support players get a little bit creative.
Yeah. I think also like a lot of the really good tank options, like a lot of the things that you'd see answered into enchanters are really either really volatile or just really bad right now. I mean, like Thresh, for example, is something that you'd maybe see into enchanters. So you're gonna be looking for hooks, looking to engage. Does a very similar thing to the Amumu, but his numbers are just so bad right now that you don't want to do it. And you know, I hate to continue to be that guy, but the truth of the matter is that the best thing I think to play into enchanters, if you really shut them down, no one wants to pick.
Yeah, who is it? Let us know. Inquiring minds. Inquiring minds.
See enchanter pick Blitzcrank.
You are unironically correct.
Oh yeah, I know.
I think that there are people who are just afraid of playing Crank because he's such a feast or famine support. You either land the hook or you're useless. And that is very tough. It's a tough bargain to have in the meta right now, I think.
So then,
you have to
go ahead.
Hope. Oh, no, you can go. You can go.
All right. Well then, so let me ask you this because I'm dumb. Why? So then, is Thresh not in the meta because of different reasons? Like, is he just not anything right now? I feel like he's not anything.
Thresh's skirmish potential in lane is very poor at the moment. Like, his damage has been neutered. Obviously, his base kit is good if you can get into the mid game, but like, you know, when the meta is scaling 80 carries, and you still want to fight for early dragons, having a Thresh by their side just provides very little for that phase of the game, right? Your Sivir is so vulnerable with a Thresh, like so vulnerable to counter picks.
And because of all of the nerfs to damage, like a big part of Thresh is you really want to look for that level 2 flash play into hook kind of combo, and you can't get kills off of it right now. With the way his base damage is, like, I mean, we saw Mickey X play it, and it was really good. But that's the thing right now. I think with the champion is like, unless you are just an absolute god on Thresh, like Nautilus is just a better version.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would still argue that they do different things, especially since Thresh is defensive oriented. But it's more of a matter of like having him survive. Like, is his AD carry going to survive until the mid game? Right. Usually no, even despite his lantern.
All right, I'm gonna tear up.
No,
you can go. You can go. Sorry.
I think this brings up a good point. Like, you talked about the mid game a lot, and for some reason I just feel like champions that spike in the mid game and champions that can't provide can't provide good damage in the late game or can't provide good enough closing out, like, or snowballing potential in the early game, like, they're just not useful. Like, I think that, and this is my thought process now, like, looking at it now, and I want to ask you guys, because I think you guys all know kind of like what you're talking about, right? Like, do you think that, I want to talk about an item, I want to talk about Tear of the Goddess, because I've always seen Tear of the Goddess as like a mid-game item, like a mid-game power spike, the 2-item power spike thing. Should champions, like, in general, stop picking it up in this meta, or do you think like it's still viable?
My take is yes. I think Archangel's staff as a whole is just not a good item unless your champion is dependent on it. I mean, the Thimble users are happy still, if you can survive that early tier purchase in lane. Monamune users are happy, I guess.
I build Archangels on Sona. I'm happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least the Sona like actually gains value from having them on a tier, right? I mean, that's pretty much it for me. If you were a mage, like a mid-game mage, you should not be building Archangel staff unless your kit is dependent on it. If you're a Monamune user, honestly, you probably should be building it unless you have a more immediate priority item for the specific game that you're in.
I'm gonna keep an eye. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I definitely think that, like, you might make sense with, you know, top lane, but mid lane and bottom lane tier purchases, like, I don't know. I don't think I'm seeing any champions really at all, like, that I think perform exceptionally well that play Archangels or Seraphs, but we'll see what happens. This conversation will come up in the VTS on Friday. We'll do it that way.
Ooh, yeah. We'll do a tier watch. We'll just see, like, hey, is there a possible tier window here? I mean, like, with the 80 carries, it's hard for me to really see in this moment who should be picking up a tier over other options. Like Draven, for example, right? Draven has historically gotten value out of Monamune, but the curve of like an Essence Reaver Eclipse is just too overwhelming at the moment. Right? So why would you pick up a tier and delay your spike just for a different spike? Right?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
I think that those are interesting, right? That's an interesting thing, and I love tier personally. I was so glad when they added Thimblewinter, because I'm like, finally, an a tank tier item. I've been crying about this for so long, and you don't even build it on a Mumu. It's wonderful. Anyways, we can come back to the desk now, because that is about a lot. That was a very good talk about sort of the meta and sort of the evolution of the current game. I think, like, the only other thing that I had wanted to mention was Orianna was weirdly high, and Snore, just Orianna, such a cool.
I think
I love it. Literally nothing happens in League. Nothing changes about Orianna. Nothing changes about Orianna's items, then suddenly she appears in the meta and she's a top pick. It happens every year.
I genuinely think it's just like a default control mage. Like, you're just gonna put that ball in the right place at the right time and press R and get an insane team fight combo, and you're gonna win the game. And it's something that's been... It's the same with Corki and Azir. Like, people are never going to stop playing these champions because they've been meta for so long that people are just really proficient at them.
Yeah, at least we're finally seeing a drop-off on Corki now that he's lost his Luden spike, right? Orianna is... Yeah, Orianna just is the default, right? Orianna's always just sitting there. She's never bad. She might not be the best, but as soon as, like, something shifts around in the meta, all of a sudden, you know, Orianna was never bad. We can pick her again. So.
What is your guys' top, like, if you guys could draft a comp right now, like, what is the comp made of? Like, what are you making a comp out of right now? Top 5 champions, everything is available. Go.
So we have every champion. We still want to make a cohesive comp.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to, like, pick the strongest things we can possibly get.
Yep, best comp in the game.
Give me 2 seconds.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
And if you can't think of it now,
the only thing
that
that
Friday.
The only thing that's coming to mind is that I think legitimately right now Lulu Sivir are just the best bot lane in the game. Like, I really think that they're just both in such a strong spot right now, and especially after Zeri got nerfed and everyone's playing towards that meta where we really are focusing around these dragons in the early game. We're focusing around winning early game. I just think that comp's insane, or that duo is insane.
Yeah.
A lot of the solo lanes, like the big thing for me in draft is, like, you want to pick a good, strong, stable jungler and something that you can be proactive on for the most part with the meta. Like, Sejuani is a great pick right now. Like, honestly, now the more that I'm talking about, I think Sejuani probably early and it's just a good pick because it's flexible. Like we said, we're seeing it top, we're seeing it in jungle. If we're spicy enough, we might be seeing it support as well. And at that point, I just pick my solo lanes based upon what they want to play, right? Like, you still want to look for that team fighting wombo, whether it's an Ornn or if you're playing Yone. Like, just something to pair with that Sivir to keep her alive and let her output damage. Right?
Yeah. To answer your team composition question, I've already got it right here. I don't even need to think about it. I got the 5 best champs in the game lined up and ready. We got, of course, in the top lane, we've got Malphite, the human being. In the jungle, a Mumu. Can't get any better than that. In the mid lane, of course, we've got Cho'Gath, the best champion in the game in the mid lane right now. In the bot lane, obviously, Blitzcrank Shed. What can you say? Bronzodia, baby. We've assembled Bronzodia.
No.
So, like, in typical Quinn fashion, I'm really overthinking my answer because I'm like, oh wait, does that get prio anywhere? Does it matter if we don't get prio anywhere? Doesn't this just, like, Giga outscale? And then look at my possible jungle pick. I'm like, wait, how bad were your nerfs? Like, okay, just to prevent myself from overthinking, I'm just going to say it. I think I'm trying to build maximum cringe. I think if you just slam Ornn, Poppy, Swain, Sivir, Yumi,
I hate you.
You can feed 2 Drakes and then you never lose.
That's
right?
totally fair.
I hate that you just said that to me, and now we're gonna see it. This is your challenge, VTS players. See if you can win with either Quinn's comp or the Bronzodia comp. I want to see it.
I got a better Bronzodia for you, though.
Yeah.
I got a better Bronzodia for you. Actually, really Smurf bot lane. Anivia Leona. They never get to move. It's a great time.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, put Glacial Augment on Leona.
So I've won so many games with Anivia Leona. It's actually busted. And then top side of the map. See, that's where it gets hard. I think you lock in a Morgana mid lane for even more CC, and then probably a Poppy jungle because you're gonna need a tank, and then might as well. What's the top lane pick? What synergizes with that even more? I think probably Ornn. Just might as well, right? You know. The idea behind this comp is to maximize. You know what? I take it back. We're gonna have Anivia and Leona bot lane. We're gonna have Morgana jungle. We're gonna have Lux mid lane.
Okay.
And what does the most CC?
Amumu.
Amumu top lane. I mean,
Amumu totally does CC. I have a champion that does CC. It's Amumu. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of that. A lot of that going on.
no, seriously though, I really suggest to you all, anyone watching, anyone that plays this game for fun ever, try an Anivia Leona bot lane. It is actually so much fun. They legitimately do not get to ever move.
Yes.
I'm gonna
you
have
know
to try
what?
it now. Thanks.
Yeah, it's
Thanks
it,
for giving me a new comp.
inflict pain. Inflict pain onto your enemies in solo queue. Do it. Punish them for playing League of Legends. And now we're going to talk more about League of Legends being played, and that is, of course, within the VTS. We're already running a bit over. We're already up to the hour mark because we just get distracted. We're going to go ahead.
Fun of it.
We're just going to go ahead and hop into stats. There were some interesting matches. We saw Geb go down. Both of our grand finalists from last split have already gone down in the series. So that's exciting. Diversity took down Geb, and Kiss took down SLK. So, you know, that's why the power rankings are the way they are. Smile. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of these player stats here. Now, these are stats out of context, so, you know, just looking at these numbers, it's very easy to be like, damn, those are some good numbers. But I feel like there's a very solid representation of a few different teams, at least across the top 10s and every stat here. So that's always cool to see. It's always cool to see different teams being represented. Because if there was only one team at the top of the table in every single stat, guess who's winning, you know? So this makes it a bit more exciting in my mind. Kills per game, of course, on Morbius on DBD.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Shout
You
out.
love to see it.
Please let this continue until that player gets on cast, because I want a Morbius sweep call out.
Yeah, we gotta see the Morbius sweep. E-Girl Cooties has highest kill participation. That's a great name. La Nuit, unsurprisingly, holds both lowest deaths per game and highest KDA. Those two stats go kind of hand in hand.
What role do they play?
They play
It's a mid laner.
mid lane.
That's impressive, yeah. So I was about to say, like, oh, I've had some very inflated KDAs as a support. I just wanted to check, you know?
I 100% have as well. The first split I ever played for a Victoris League, I subbed in halfway through a draft league playing support. I played half the split and had the highest number of assists in the entire league. And my KDA was
nice.
like 5 or something like that. And it was all assists.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
They never talked about it on the cast. It was okay. We got smacked in quarterfinals and
Yeah.
won. So
I know all about getting smacked in quarterfinals. That's where I was last split. Rest in peace. Melly G was there. Melly in chat. Melly was there watching me getting smacked in quarterfinals. He got to watch me flash forward on Ashe when I was like 16-4 or something, and just int the game.
Oh,
Really
no.
a beautiful time.
I'm just scanning these stats here. I see Jolini and Rambo on the same team, 3rd and 4th kills per game.
Ooh, that is
Very nice.
definitely interesting.
It just means a lot of kills. Scrappy team.
These are very, very bloody games, or dominant stomps, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
and-
we can't check everything right away, but
Yeah, and it's also interesting to note that even players on teams that are perceived to be lower end, you know, we have some Mingo's representation, of course. We also have some LCE representation. The top laner, Noen, is actually on multiple stats here. Top in kills per game, top 10 kills per game, top 10 CS per minute, and top of damage per minute on a top laner.
Yeah, I want to see what
So-
champions they're playing. I'm looking that up right now.
Yeah, go ahead and look that up. But I feel like I love to see the stats like this because it is cool to see different players represented. And also, I love Maokai Ego Boom. Maokai coming back next patch into the jungle, baby. We're
Oh,
bringing
but
him back. The
Oh, yeah.
odd
I'm
one
scared.
returns. The general will return when Maokai jungle, I believe.
So I think I found one of the major sources of that damage per minute stat.
All right, what is it?
Mingos versus Lit Club. No one is playing Volibear with Riftmaker Nashor's Hullbreaker.
I'm sorry.
Yes, we love to see it. The AP volley build. Oh my
AP
goodness.
plus Hullbreaker too. I mean, there's
Um,
a set game in here with Blade of the Ruined King against Scion, so that checks out. Where's the other series? Have they played another series, or is it just the
No,
one
they have
set?
not played another series yet.
Okay,
That was
so
just
yeah,
the one
it's
against Mingos.
Bork set versus Scion, and it's just this like maniacal Volibear build.
Yeah, it's also
That playing against a Volibear that's winning with that is so annoying to play against. Playing
Oh, yeah.
that build and absolutely stomping people is so much fun. You don't die, dude. You do not die on that build if you play it right.
I love finding anomalies like that. That's so funny.
I also think it's neat that, well, neat. I say neat, even though it's like possibly flaming someone. Daydream's not on any of these stats, despite like getting multiple quadra kills, right? Daydream is not on any of these stats. Where
already
is
has a vendetta
Daydream?
for our analyst desk. Like, do you want it to get worse?
Where is she?
There's not a lot of CB at all on these stats, to be honest with you.
That is also interesting,
That's
considering
fun.
they've had good games so far.
They,
You know?
Well-
and they're the only team that's played 2 games.
Well, if they've played 2 games, then
Well-
they're going to trend more towards like average stats, right?
Mhm.
Maybe the stats aren't updated for week 2 though, because week 2 isn't complete, right? So
Maybe. Oh
I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
that is
that-
true.
I-
Okay, so-
but then
I
we'd
don't-
expect to see them more. But
Yeah, I don't know necessarily how when the stats update. That is a question for
at
Ravensman. Make sure at Ravensman. Don't do it. I'm just kidding. Don't. do
Shoutouts
it.
to my vision score per minute players. I see
Yeah,
you.
let's go, warding players. Let's go. So yeah, that's a quick look at the stats. We're gonna keep an eye on this. I love following the stats. I find them very interesting. And keep an eye on Morbius on DVD. Let's see if they can stay on top for the Morbius sweep. So we can bring it back to the desk now as we go into our last part of the show here. We're going to talk about some of the coming matchups up this week, and I'm going to go over a few matchups that could potentially be on Friday, based on scheduling. So it depends on, if they're actually going to schedule it at default time. We have one currently confirmed for default time, and that is Ned versus CC. So 2 lower end, arguably lower end teams, if our good friends at the Mingos are to be believed. These are 2 lower end teams battling it out. These are also 2 teams who lost in week 1, so they're both looking for their first win. So, interesting match. Interesting match.
You want my prediction? I'm gonna give it to you anyways.
Yeah, let's. Even if you haven't done any looking at these teams, put down a prediction. Who do you believe in?
No, I believe in CC.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be contrarian then, because I've done no research. Ned duo.
All right, Ned Flanders winning. Kevbo.
That is actually a hard one because I also have not done my research.
That's okay.
This is what I'm gonna say. I think Clarity wins if it's simply based upon logo.
Okay.
But Nameless as an org is well established, and I expect, especially because this is probably one of their upper echelon teams, for them to be well coached and well organized. So I think I'm going to give it to them.
All right. Cool. You know what? I'm gonna go on the Ned train. I believe in Ned Flanders. So This is great.
Smashing.
Go for it. I've got, you know, I'm not worried.
Yeah. Next up, I know LCE and Diversity are not playing on default time because I've already spoken to the players. Goobers versus Glacial Esports Black, currently unscheduled. Glacial Esports lost in week 1 along with the Goobers. So again, two teams who have not picked up a win, did not pick up a win in week 1, going up against each other, including our former grand finalists trying to get their first win of the season. Of course, we say this as if it's like later in the season. It's week 2. No, a lot of people don't have wins yet. We're gonna see how they perform there. So, you know, let's put some gambles down. Goobers or Geb? Who do we believe in?
I think the smart money's on Geb, but I like the name Goobers too much to vote against them. So...
All right, we got Goobers. We got one Goobers.
I went for a nameless in the last vote, so I guess I'll go for Glacial Esports in this vote.
All right, Glacial Esports. All right, we got Geb. We got a Geb. We got a Goobers.
We got a Geb.
Do you believe in Kite Azure? Are we gonna see the Kite Azure pop off in that match?
We better.
You say this like I know any of these players. The only player that I actually know is Daydream, and that's just because I casted with them before.
Becky, why are we making predictions on teams we haven't researched or learned anything about?
Because it's funnier
Because it's
this way. I mean, if we're wrong, you know, oh man, you should have guessed better. I don't know.
Damn, I really needed to flip that coin a little better.
Golly gee, I can't believe I lost that coin flip. It's literally it's just like playing Master Duel. You log into a game and then you flip a coin, and then if it's heads you win, if it's tails you lose. It's just fantastic. That's the Master Duel experience.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I wish you were wrong.
All right, I believe in Geb. I'll believe in Geb.
I believe in the heart of the cards.
I believe that I will not play into somebody who is open called by for the 8th game in a row. Darn, they open called by. This is unbelievable. Yeah, I think there's also GLV versus CE, but I haven't looked at either of those teams. And Glaive has an ugly logo, so I'm gonna go with CE. Wait, no, CE are the cringe. They've got the uglier logo. Both of them have ugly logos. Wait a second. Can we I think both teams are gonna lose. This is gonna be like a 2-1. Both of them will eat a loss here. I just don't know who's gonna be superior.
Yeah, I mean, I need to look at the Mingo's power rankings to see their logos again.
Yeah, can we get what are the Mingo's power rankings? Glaive are above CE, so you know, going based off the Mingos.
I think I agree with that though. I think that they do have the slightly better looking logo. I'm gonna go with Glaive.
I swear one of these weeks we'll stop talking about logos once we see some more games.
I will never.
Yeah, once I actually have the time to digest some good old results-based analysis from post-match screens.
Ooh,
delicious.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, yeah. So those are some things I don't believe we selected a match for Friday yet because those are selected, I believe, like on the day, like in the morning.
Yeah, VAS got selected at 11:30 this morning, so
or at least announced. Yeah, yes, they're announced in the morning. So we will know in the morning of Friday who is being streamed. So keep an eye out for that, captains. If you are watching and are part of the VTS, keep an eye out for that. And hopefully it'll be an exciting match. So it has been a while. It has been a program here. So before we hop out, log out, do you have any other things you'd like to say? Kevbo, I'll start from you this time. Any other things you'd like to say about the VTS so far?
I'm just excited to see more League when it comes to the VTS.
I love League. I love League of Legends.
This is the story of my weekend. I was on analyst for VTS. I slept until 11. I woke up. I watched LEC. I then played League until 1 in the morning when LCK came on. And then I watched LCK. And then I slept until LEC came on. And then I woke up and watched LEC. And then I watched LCS. And then I went to bed. That was my weekend.
You know, that's fair.
I love League.
I love League. Last weekend I got to cast my first best of 5 that went to 5 games.
Oh,
in the Platinum Ducks. We were going until like 1:30 a.m. It was a really great time. Cam and I were definitely like soup brained in game 5. It was a complete and total mess, and it didn't help that one team just drafted 4 enchanters and nobody on their team would ever die. So, you know, that was awesome. Cam and I did a bunch of sponsorships. We read a bunch of ads. That was fantastic. Don't watch it. Don't watch that VOD. The other games were great. Just don't watch game 5 of that series.
Other than that, I just have my usual statements, which are Blitzcrank is best champ. See Enchanter, pick Blitzcrank. That is all.
Yeah, Blitzcrank. I want to see more crank.
You
tired of Yumi?
I have to espouse some of my propaganda. Don't pick it into Yumi. Don't pick it into Yumi.
Like one of these days, I'm actually going to get sucked into a full Blitzcrank discussion. Somehow today was not that day. Honestly, I was expecting it to go in that direction, but somehow not today.
I mean, Becky knows that, you know, I may espouse much propaganda, but the truth of the matter is, I've played Blitzcrank once in the last 6 months, and I out-CS'd a Garen playing AD Crank. So, best Blitz in Bronze, I think, confirmed. But other than that, yeah, Quintic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the games this week. I'm in the week 3 waiting room when I got to talk about Udyr.
Udyr.
That's what I'm excited for.
I love Udyr. I think he's the exact same champion as before, but he has slightly more utility, and that's perfect. That's all I wanted.
No, he's really fun. I spent like
looks cool.
I spent 2 weeks studying that champ, so I'm just waiting to dump the knowledge on the desk. Right?
You know, I have tried a few different builds. I've tried a lot of jank. A lot of the times, it doesn't matter what I build on Udyr. He just feels a little underwhelming later in the game, and I think that's just the nature of the champion. But that's just my opinion, and you know, I am not a great player, so I'm not gonna say I'm the arbiter of Udyr opinions. I just like playing him because it's funny. I like slapping people. It makes me feel good.
If you want to win games, don't play Udyr.
Yeah, if you want to have fun playing games, play AP Udyr.
Yes, 100%.
This is why I don't play ranked. Because it's so much more fun.
So much more fun.
Yes, and fun, Moose. What's fun about the VTS? What are you feeling?
What's fun about the VTS is the fact that we get to do cool stuff like this. Really enjoy hanging out and talking about it. And just talking about just the games in general, talking about the teams in general. We're still so scuffed. Like, I feel so scuffed because it's only the second time that I've ever talked about a league this much in depth. But we're having tons of fun, and I can't wait to like get into like week 4, week 5, week 6, and really get into like the cool stuff about the league and have really good conversations about it. So stick around, guys, as well. We're gonna give you guys a show. We're gonna make this really cool. Very excited.
Yeah, and showcase the dragons. That is actually something we should talk about in the future. If you keep track of the dragon guesses that you and TDS have on the cast. Do you happen to know who is currently ahead in dragon predictions?
In dragon predictions, it's currently 1-1 between me and TDS. But we both suck. Is really the bottom line. We both don't know how to predict dragons yet.
My friends on VAS are so mad because I keep predicting everything right. I legitimately in the draft show I predicted that Group B was going to be all blue teams and DEA, and I was right. after
you were right.
the draft.
You were right, and then a team got banned. So
Yep.
who really was correct there? They got banned to spite you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. I predicted a 2-1 series today, and they both predicted a 2-0. So, and then we got a 40-minute absolute banger for Game 3.
Yeah. But related to Drake's, I know we're trying to close here. I have to just quick. Don't bother giving an explanation. Favorite soul.
Hextech.
Favorite soul for you. Hextech. One Hextech.
Cloud.
Cloud, we got a Cloud. Cloud Believers, 94% win rate. Raz is true. Raz is real. The numbers don't lie.
I'm trying to remember what your Discord statement is. But bless the healing, bless the ocean soul. Gotta love me some Ocean Soul.
Yeah. Ocean Soul. It's fantastic. For me, unironically, Cloud. I like the Cloud Rift. I just like the Rift. I like the speed pockets. I think they're fun.
Let's go. Someone knows.
I thought we weren't explaining, Becky, what happened.
Oh, I literally didn't listen to my own words.
Hashtag bring back Chemtech.
Yeah, can we get Chemtech Drake back? Hello? Look, I've been pining for retro Drake. I want like the old Drake model to swoop in and just give like a bag of gold, and that's all it does. That's what I want to see.
An Avarice Drake would be pretty great.
That is cool. Hey, I've got a cooler idea. What if we let Gurf go to bed?
Yeah, what if we let Gurf go to bed and also let the rest of us go to bed?
I have important work to get back to.
Yeah, that is that'll be it for the Victoris Talk Squad tonight. We love Drakes, we love League, we love VTS. I have been Becky Rita Gaming. You can catch me on Becky Rita Gaming, twitter.com. Moose is there. Catch Moose Caster. Moose is like the old, I'm sure Quintic posts. Moose posts a lot more than me. I literally just retweet things that I think are funny. Quintic makes content. Check that out. Kevbo.
I've been on Twitter
check him out
in the last 2 months, so have fun.
Check him out. Shoutouts to Kevbo. Shoutouts to Gurf. And yeah, that'll be it for us. Gurf's gonna go back to Minecraft, and I'm gonna go take a big nap. So we'll see you all next week, and we'll see you all Friday.
Bye, everyone.
We'll be right back.